This is video 2 from Unit 7, Lesson 4. We're going to continue factoring trinomials, but this time we're going to have a number in front of our squared term. Okay, so again, let's start off with just multiplying, just using FOIL to see then kind of where our factoring comes from. Okay, so if I FOIL this, I'm going to get 2y times 6y is 12y squared. And then my outer would be 8y. The inner would be negative 18y. And then the last would be negative 12. I want to combine those outer and inner terms. So it's negative 10y minus 12. Okay, so now what I want to do is start with this trinomial and go back to the two binomials. Okay, so this is a little bit hard because my first two terms could be a variety of things. So factors of 12, you have 3 and 4, 2 and 6, 1 and 12. Usually I say start with the ones closest together, so start with the 3 and the 4. But we already know this one is going to be 2 and 6, so 2y and 6y. Okay, now I need factors of negative 12, so 3 and negative 4, negative 3 and 4, 6 and 2, negative 2, negative 6 and 2, 1 and negative 12, negative 1 and 12. And keep in mind, those could switch positions too. You could do negative 4 and 3. Okay, so let's just say I'm just trying. So I'm just going to try this first one, 3 and negative 4. So 3 plus 3 minus 4. Check your outer and inner. So you already know 3 times negative 4 equals negative 12. So you're fine with your product. But we want to get negative 10 as the middle term. Remember where our middle term comes from. Our middle term comes from our outer and inner. Okay, so my outer here would be negative 8y. The inner would be plus 18y. I add those together and I get positive 10y. I need negative 10y. So I'm close, I'm just not quite there. So really, what I need to do is switch the signs and make it a negative 3 and a positive 4. Now my outer is 8y and the inner is negative 18y, which does give me negative 10y. So a little bit of trial and error here. There might be a lot of times where you're going to have to erase and start over. So I would suggest using a pencil for this lesson and for this assignment when you're working them out. Okay. So factors of 6, I'm going to do 2 and 3, 1 and 6. They're both positive because it's a positive 6 n squared. They could also both be negative, but that's not how we'd start out. For 7, though, I just have 1 and 7, or negative 1, negative 7. Okay. So let's start with the 2 and the 3, so 2n and 3n. And then I need to use 1 and 7. I also, remember, you can also switch these and do 7 and 1. Sometimes that is more helpful. Since I want to add to be a positive here, I know that I'm going to do positive 1, positive 7. Okay, so 1, 7. So I need to get 23n when I combine my outer and inner. So right now my outer is 14n, my inner is 3n. That's 17n. Okay, that's not what I want. So I'm not going to use 1 and 7. let's try 7 and 1. And then if this doesn't work, then you can go back and change to 1 and try the 1 and the 6. Try 1 and 6 if you need to. But I like to do all the options from my last term first. Okay, so 2n plus 21n gives me 23n, which is what I want. This is correct. Okay, next one. So when it's a prime number like 2 or 7 or 3, then it's not quite so hard because you just have two options really to try. You can switch their order. They both are going to be positive since it's plus plus. Okay, so let's try 2y and 1y. And let's try 2 and 1. And again, they're both going to be positive. So my outer is 2y. My inner is 2y. But that equals 4y. That's not what I want. So it's not 2 and 1. Let's check 1 and 2. So my outer is 4y. My inner is 1y. That does equal 5y. Okay, so for this one, go ahead and pause it and try it on your own, and then check back and see if you get the right answer. Okay, so for positive 10, I have 5 and 2. Okay, I have 5 and 2, or 2 and 5. I have 10 and 1, or 1 and 10. But remember, I'm really not going to change this one unless I try all the options with the 12 and it doesn't work. Okay, with 12, I have, and it's positive 12, so I have 3 and 4, or 4 and 3. I have 6 and 2, or 2 and 6. And I have 1 and 12, or 12 and 1. Okay, so let's start with the ones closer together, so 5y and 2y. And I'll try 3 and 4. I know positive and positive because I have positive, positive here. So my outer is 20y. My inner is 6y. That gives me 26y. Nope, not what I want. Okay, so it's not 3 and 4. Let's try 4 and 3. So that's 15y plus 8y, and that gives me 23y. Or x. I'm sorry, I don't know why I was still using y's from the last example. So let me just rewrite that with x's. So 5x to x and 4 and 3. So that gave us 15x plus 8x, which is 23x. Okay. I want to factor these trinomials completely. So something else that I need to check for, really before I even get started with my parentheses and my factors, is if I can take out a greatest common factor. So if I can do that distributive property backwards that we did a few lessons back. So meaning I'm looking at 6, 20, and negative 16, and I know that I can take a 2 out of all of those. So I can factor out this 2 first. So I get 3x squared plus 10x minus 8. So now I'm looking at this trinomial here. The numbers are smaller, it's just going to make it easier to factor. I will just bring that 2 down. It's just going to hang out front. Okay, so the only factors of 3 are 1 and 3. So 3x and 1x. And I need factors of negative 8, so 1 positive, 1 negative. So 4 and negative 2, which could be negative 2 and 4. Negative 4 and 2, which could be positive 2 and negative 4. 1 and negative 8, which could be 8, negative 8, 1. Okay, so those are all my factors of 8, my choices to use. So let's just start with the first two, 4 and negative 2. So positive 4, negative 2. So my outer is negative 6x. The inner is plus 4x. And I need that to equal positive 10x. That gives me negative 2x, so that's not right. Okay, so that one didn't work. So remember, I'm not looking back at the original now. I'm looking at the 3x squared plus 10x minus 8. So I'm trying to get 10x for my outer and inner. All right, so I'll try negative 2 and positive 4. So my outer is 12x. The inner is negative 2x. 12x minus 2x is positive 10x. So my answer, I got to include that 2 I pulled out in front, is this. So we've been pretty fortunate that we've gotten the right answer just on like the second try. It could take longer. It could be where your factors are 1 and negative 8. Okay, so it could take you longer. Could take some more trial and error. Just keep working at it. Remember, we're thinking FOIL backwards. FOIL backwards.